Hey, what's going on, everybody? Echo Side Fiend here, back once again, and today I've got a pretty good stack of shirts, hoodies, and some other items to show that are custom made by my buddy Jeremy over at Furniture City Graphics. He's the owner and operator. That's what he's doing for a living now, too. He was, for a long time, just doing that on the side for some extra income while he managed a pawn shop here in Grand Rapids that he was at for a long time, 15, 16 years, maybe even longer. About a year ago, year and a half maybe, he left the pawn shop and he's just doing his Furniture City Graphics full time now. He's doing pretty good. He's possibly looking at moving into a building. I know he looked at a small building right by his house not terribly long ago. So he's excited at the prospect of that. Nothing set in stone yet, but he's hoping that works out. Otherwise, he's just working in his basement like he used to. And he's been making good enough money to buy some new equipment. He can work with some new materials now and do some new stuff. So it's looking pretty exciting. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and show off all the stuff probably over the course of I'm gonna say at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years that he's done for me. And let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So a couple of these items that I'm gonna show I have already showed before, but we're just gonna go ahead and look through them again since I'm doing an updated look. So these I have shown off already. These, of course, as you can see, are masks. I've had them make me quite a few. I had him make me 2 of these, and I've had this other stack here, and I've got a few more he's making for me. With my job, we have to wear them. I'm around people all day. My job is very physical, so I'm breathing heavy through them. So I always bring about 4 or 5 of them with me a day, and when I get home, I wash them, just in the sink and let them air dry. So I've got a pretty good stack that I'm having him make me. I bought some other ones. Seems like I'm putting together a huge collection of them, but it's like I need them for my work, and it's kind of cool to have them custom made. So this, of course, is the Undisputed Era. Thankfully, they are staying together, it looks like, anyway, because when Adam Cole lost the belt, I had just had Jeremy make that for me, and I'm like, shit, I hope he doesn't lose the belt when they fall apart, so, but it looks like they're sticking together. So of course, Balor Club, those are all ones that I have showed before. So here's a new one. I wasn't actually expecting this one. He's got a stack of my masks that I've just bought and given to him. And he was making me another item that you'll see a little bit later with these logos on it. And so he made me the mask, and I really like that. So, and this is also another one I have not shown yet. Ultimate Warrior, of course. He made me a sticker of this, too. It's pretty good size. And I want to put it on my car, but I just don't really have a spot for it. So I don't know what I'm going to end up. He made me a couple of them, actually, so this one here is probably my favorite. I will be honest, right now I have zero interest in displaying any form of the American flag, but I picked up the mask, and I saw it when I was buying a bunch of these, and I was like, that would be perfect to have. At first I was like, I don't need an American flag one, fuck that. And then I was like, wait, that'd be great for Hulkamania. So went home and found a logo, and when I sent it to him, I actually didn't know if he'd be able to get the established 1984 part on it. And he was like, yep. And he's actually, this is still the vinyl, but he's got a machine that he can actually print on the vinyl now. That's one of his new things that he picked up. So he was able to do a pretty good detail in there. So those turned out great. So I was really happy with those. All right. So let's move on to the shirts. The top one that you were seeing there at the beginning is a local band here in Grand Rapids. This is actually among the first local bands that I started supporting. They're called the Necrophilicons. My friend Rob is the singer. Throughout the years, they were around for a long time. He had kind of a revolving door of musicians. They're a horror punk band. So if you're into the Misfits at all, you'd probably dig the Necrophilicons. I'll put a link to their Facebook if you want to check them out, because if you're into, like I said, the Misfits, any of that kind of like the rockabilly horror, where they call it like psychobilly and stuff like that, you probably dig these guys. They're not rockabilly, but they have played a lot of shows with those kinds of bands. So, but they broke up probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and then just about a year or 2 ago, they reformed. Rob put them back together with all different musicians. Like I said, he had a lot of guys would come and go, and so he put them together with all new musicians. And all those guys have stuck around because they got a really good response. Their show filled up. A lot of people came out to see them. A lot of people showed up. They didn't even know who they were and were like just blown away. So they ended up staying together. That was supposed to be just a reunion show, but the band that he put together has all stuck with him. So hopefully that stays for a while. And this is their logo. And it's funny because Rob knows Jeremy really well. They've actually played, their reunion show, Jeremy's band played with them. Their band is called Chugger. And I messaged Rob and I was like, hey, do you mind if I have him make me a shirt? And he's like, not at all. And if it looks good, I might have him make me a bunch to sell. And I sent him what he did, and he was really, liked it. And he goes, I'm going to hit him up. So I don't know if anything really happened with that. Obviously the pandemic hit and kind of fucked a lot of stuff up, but so anyway, like I said, if you're into horror punk, definitely check these guys out. They're from right here in Grand Rapids, and the singer Rob is a good friend of mine, and the current guitar player Chris is a good friend of mine too. So, all right, next one, Fozzie. The couple times that I've seen Fozzie, all the shirts they had for sale didn't really interest me, so I just found their logo, sent it to him, and asked him if he could make that for me. And on the back, if you remember, their first album was kind of a kayfabe album, where they had kind of a storyline and everything, where they were supposedly trapped in Japan by their record company, so they had the "We're Huge in Japan." So I had them put that on the back. I'm not worry about flipping that back over. I'll do that when I'm all done. So, next one. It's one of my favorite TV series of all time. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Of course, this is the Midnight Society, the group of kids in the beginning that would get together to tell the stories. So I saw a shirt on sale with this logo on Facebook. It did have a little more shading to it, like the match kind of had some light coming off of it. But I don't order stuff off those Facebook groups because you just don't know if you're gonna actually get it or not. So I just sent him the logo. I was like, "Can you do that?" And he goes, "Yeah, I won't be able to put as much detail, but I can definitely do the main part." And I was like, "Sounds good to me." So that's what he did. Nothing on the back of that one. Next one. This is one of my favorites. The world famous Monster Factory. It's a wrestling school in New Jersey. It was founded in, I'm going to say, mid 80s maybe, by Larry Sharp, and it's now owned and operated by a guy named Brian Cage. And they are still around, and they've had some big names come through there. That's where Bam Bigelow trained. So the WWF magazine, actually got it hanging right there, that I showed off a little while ago with the oddities, that one, the giant Silva that I wasn't really familiar with. Joker's Gallery is the one who told me who that was. And I actually, when I was kind of looking at the Monster Factory here, just to kind of, so I'd be able to say like where they're located and everything, he's one of the names that trained there. So, but yeah, they had Bam Bigelow, Matt Riddle just went through there, and they actually work pretty closely with the WWE. So there's a huge list of guys that have come through there. Flyboy Rocco Rock was from there, and but yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've always wanted a shirt of it, and I would look on their website, and I didn't ever see any, or at least with this logo. And so finally one time I came across that, and I was like, sent it to him, and he's like, I can throw that on a shirt, no problem. So next one, CM Punk. I have a few CM Punk shirts, but a couple of them are really faded and worn out, and obviously, he does have some for sale on Wrestling Tees, ProWrestlingTees.com, but there wasn't a whole lot that really caught my eye. So I had him just make that, the fist there. Had him do one of these on the sleeve. I have a shirt of that, and that's another one that's really faded and kind of not falling apart, but it's just worn out. And then I've always liked that logo. And then when I picked this up, he made me a couple of vinyl stickers of that too, about that size, maybe a little bigger than that, but I actually put one on the back of my car, so got that there. Next one is Los Ingobernables de Japón, which is a group. They're in CMLL and New Japan, and so you got like Evil, Bushi, what's the one guy that I have a shirt of him too, and I can't. It's a Tetsunami or something. I don't know. A whole bunch of Japanese wrestlers that are in it. I know all their names, so now that I'm trying to think of them right off the top of my head, I can't. But this is a shirt that I actually owned. It was a Pro Wrestling Tees shirt, and I just didn't like the fit of it. And so I was, I just took a picture of it and sent it to Jeremy, and I'm like, you could probably redo that. He's like, yeah, I could do that, no problem. Yeah, so this does have a back. But yeah, you actually wouldn't even know if you put them next to each other. The one I had and then this one that he made, you'd have no clue that one isn't even official. so that turned out really good. So obviously, yeah, they've been in Ring of Honor, I think, as well. So USA, Japan, Mexico. So like that one a lot. So Here's this one I just picked up just the other day. This is ECW, obviously you can see. I've had a couple ECW shirts. One is an actual ECW shirt that I bought at an actual ECW show, the old one, the old Paul Heyman one. And it is so worn out. I dug it up and I'm like, I don't even know if this thing will hold up if I wear it. So, and on the back of that one, the one that I own, it had this. Now it was a little more detailed, the one I had. Jeremy said he'd probably be able to replicate it, but I just kind of wanted just the ECW in red. The other one had like lightning behind it and all that, and I just wanted that, and I just wanted this to match the front, you know. So he's like, yep, no problem. So no corporate sponsors, no Monday Night Hype, and yes, that is how it was spelled on the back of the original shirt. So I wanted him to do it just like that. And then just hardcore to the effing bone. And then that one, it did have an ECW logo. And then it had a bigger one up here too, and a bigger ECW logo. But I'm like, I've already got that there. So I kind of decided just to have him skip that one and do the small one. So that one turned out really good. Really glad to have another ECW shirt. I have a official WWE one from like WrestleMania, I don't know, was it 27 or whatever when they had that going. And but it just, that one's really faded as well. It doesn't fit me all that great anymore. So this one here is Catchpoint. That is a group that Drew Gulak, who I believe is still with the WWE, he got released and I think they brought him back almost immediately. But this is a group that he had in Evolve Wrestling. He might have done it in some other promotions as well, but it's I knew it from Evolve. So it was a stable. Basically, he just had some other guys that were like, you know, pure wrestlers, and I always liked that logo and stuff. And then I had him put an Evolve logo on the back. So I don't know if the original shirts, they did have shirts of it that you could get at the time. I don't know if that was on the back or not, but I was like, that'll be cool. So all right, so here I was wearing this in a video before. I think I've worn a lot of these in videos, but Twisted, obviously Abominations. I actually never had a Abominations era shirt of Twisted, so I decided to go ahead and have them make me one. So I dug that logo up, and I like that a lot. I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo of that. So, and then on the back, just the Abominations era Twisted logo and the skull ones. So I just had them do everything in red. But yeah, the logo here on the front, I'm actually thinking about, I've got a ICP tat on my leg. It's the, if you watched the last video of this I did, the hoodie that I have, like with the, I guess it'd be Great Malenko era dreadlocks. I have that on my leg. Just I don't have Insane Clown Posse right now. I have the guy that does my tattoos. He kind of took that out and just kind of did the hair through where that was. But I'm thinking about getting this right below that. So all right. So now I am. I think I'm gonna have Jeremy do shirts of all the Joker cards, just because I've got several, but a lot of them I couldn't even tell you the last time I owned just a plain Riddle Box shirt. Honestly, I think the only one I've ever owned was the very first ICP shirt I bought when I saw them for the first time in 1996. And otherwise, I have like a Juggalo Day. I think it was 2012 one, but it says Juggalo Day on it, and I'm like, I want just a regular Riddle Box one. So I had him do that. Of course, he's done those Christmas ones for us before, so he already had this on file. He's like, yeah, that won't be hard to do. So yeah, that turned out pretty good. And I'm gonna have him do Jekyll Brothers and a Hell's Pit and a Wraith. I have. He's already done me a Ringmaster one. I've shown that off before. We've seen a Carnival Carnage one here next. I own an official Great Malenko one, but I might just have him make me one, so I just have a whole set of just ones that he made for me. So anyway, here's Carnival Carnage. He made me a Halloween version of this. Me and Tom, my buddy from England, he made the Halloween versions of this. But then I was like, I don't think I've ever, and I shouldn't even say I haven't ever owned a Carnival Carnage shirt. I made it clear it's probably my least, maybe second to least favorite album by them. But that, when I say, second to least favorite, that's not saying I don't like it. So I still do listen to it. A lot of great songs on it. And I'm like, I want to be able to rep it. So all right, next one. This is a track jacket that I just picked up and had him make me an All Elite logo on it. So I picked this up just at this really weird clothing store that was around here for a while. Everything was super cheap. I don't even know. Mick, I have no clue what that brand is. And I think these things, I bought this one and a gray one. That I think I'm going to have them put me a Ring of Honor logo on the back of that one. But they were like $8, you know what I mean? It's just this weird clothing store that just carried like shorts and all kinds of just weird, super cheap stuff. A lot of good stuff, but this is like, it seems pretty good quality. So, all right, so moving on to a hoodie. This turned out pretty good, as you can see. Isham. This here, I wore it to Chicago. Me and my roommate, we go to Chicago every December. Her birthday is December 9th. And at the time when we're out there every year, there's this thing called the Krampus Fest. It's at a bar, and all these people just sell all this like custom Krampus items and stuff. So I bought this and like a sticker of this, I think, for like $10 and stuck that on there. So but move down here. This is the pockets here. And then put a Supervillains logo. And then have them put on the sleeves here. If I can, why is this not going around the way I want it to go? So I had them put the wicked shit will never die. So and then put that on the sleeves, and then the back. Real life and real life productions. So turned out pretty cool. I've said before, I'm not like the hugest Isham fan, but of course I respect him. And one of the reasons I had to make me this, I was also going to wear it to Detroit when me and Guido went to see that Black Christmas show that he was headlining, and I was going to wear it to that. And so the night before I washed it, and I fell asleep with it still in my laundry basket. And I wake up in the morning and my cat is curled up on top of it. This was like right on top, so I pick it up and it's all covered in cat hair and like all wrinkled and everything. So I'm like, I can't wear that. So I ended up not wearing it to that show, but I probably could have, but I didn't. So this is one he made me quite a while ago. I don't know what that is on there. Okay, something I have to wash that. But yeah, so obviously you can see it's NXT. And then if you look on the hood and put Undisputed Era on each side. And then the sleeves. We got Cole and Fish. And O'Reilly and Strong. I'm working with one hand here. You can't really get that to flatten out, but you can see it. And then, of course, flip it over. And we got the Undisputed Era logo on the back. So I've worn this to quite a few wrestling shows. I wore it to a Ring of Honor show. I wore it to an Evolve show. I got a lot of comments on it, so that turned out really cool. Another one here. This is actually one of my favorites that he's ever done for me. As you can see, Balor. Had him put some Balor Club logos down one sleeve, WWE logos down the other. I've made it pretty clear before that Finn Balor is probably my second favorite current wrestler. And the back turned out fucking awesome. This is an image I found online somewhere, and man, that turned out so fucking cool. So that's another one. I've worn this around and got a lot of comments on it. So, all right. So for the last one, it's going to be an independent truck company hoodie. That is the first indie hoodie I've owned in, God, I don't even know how long. Probably 20 years. And I was telling my ex-girlfriend about it. Like, we still keep in touch because we keep in touch about our cats, because my cat is also kind of hers, and then the cat she has is also kind of mine. So when I mentioned that I had got a new hoodie, or I think I put a picture of it online, and we were just messaging back and forth, and she's like, oh, that thing's awesome, dude. And I was saying how I was going to show off this stuff in the video. And she goes, if you still have your old indie hoodie, you should show that so people can see why you got a new one. And so I do have it, so I'm going to show this. I bought this, I'm not kidding, probably 20 fucking years ago. So this is all embroidered. It's a really cool, this is the official hoodie. This is not the one, obviously, Jeremy made me, but I don't know if that's going to focus, but it's actually got the indie cross in the zipper. But I mean, I patched it, then it started tearing down through here. Then the other one started, this is obviously the elbows. You can see all through here. It's all framed. I mean, I wore this, I mean, literally till just a few years ago. That's like how much it meant to me. Holes all around it. I wore it skateboarding, snowboarding, everything, you know what I mean? So this thing was jet black when I got it. You can see it's like ash gray and everything. So yeah, Amy was like, you should show that just so people can see, you know, how much you wear indie stuff. So all right, so we'll go ahead and show the one that Jeremy printed up for me. And this is a Old Navy hoodie, but it's like kind of like, they call it like a tech hoodie, and it like zips up farther into the hood, and it's got this pocket here. So I just had him recreate an independent truck company shirt that I have. So this is like the shirt that I have. This is written down the side. And then if you're not aware, I didn't even know this till just I don't know, maybe more than a few years ago, but Thrasher Magazine and Independent Truck Company were both founded by Fausto Vitello. I think I'm saying his name right. He's the late Fausto Vitello, but he is the one who founded Independent Truck Company and Thrasher Magazine. And you can actually find now, I actually have one in my closet, an Independent and Thrasher like combo shirt, so to speak. So this is the back. That's the hood. So, yeah, I mean, throughout the years I had several pullover indie shirts, and like I think I've said before, you know, all the years I spent skateboarding, that was my brand. I had back when I smoked cigarettes, I still have this around somewhere, but I had an Independent Zippo, like an actual Zippo brand, and it had like the logo embossed on it. And I carried that pretty much up till I quit smoking, which was many years ago, but I still do have that. I'm sure you've seen it in my videos. I got that tatted on my arm. You know, this is my thing. I never, rode anything other than independent trucks. I had tons of their shirts, merch, hats, everything, sweatshirts. When I was snowboarding, I had a snowboarding jacket, but I usually didn't wear it. I wore just a hoodie, and I almost like 99% of the time it was an indie hoodie, and I just, thrash them apart, falling, and, wear them when I was skating, and I'd tear them up, and I'd just buy a new one. And then, like I said, that was the last one I bought, and I wore up till, I said up till a few years ago. It was probably up to about 5 or 6 years ago, but I just couldn't get rid of it. I've had this thing. I probably bought this in probably like the year 2000, maybe somewhere along in there. So, and that was the last indie hoodie I had until Jeremy made me this one. So, obviously it's not official, but I like that. And I had to put the Thrasher logo there. And so, well, that's it. So, man, this went for quite a bit longer than I expected because I had a lot to show. There's one that I can't find that he made for me. It was an Owen Hart shirt. I had him do an Owen 316 logo back when he was using that when he was feuding with Stone Cold. It literally just looks like the Austin 316 logo. And on the back, though, I had him put... so Owen had cut a promo against Bret Hart, and he said he was like, they were in a tag team match, and Bret wouldn't tag him in, and then Owen turned on him, and he kicked his bad leg out from under him and all that, and then so he was doing a backstage promo, and he's like, that's why you're in the ring with a bad leg, because you're selfish, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. And that's exactly, you could hear him kind of realize what he said. And so I had him put on the back, I just kicked the leg out of your leg. So, and then I set that shirt aside because I was going to bring it back to him and have him put a King of Hearts logo on it. And I set it aside so I wouldn't lose it, and I can't fucking find it. So it's here somewhere, but it's just a black shirt with white print. But so that was one I was missing. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. This went about 25 minutes. So hopefully you watch all the way through, and like I said, I'll put a link to the Necrophilicons if you're into horror punk, and I will also link up Furniture City Graphics Facebook page. I don't know if he has a website or not. I'll look into that, and if he does, I'll throw that in there as well. So, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. This is Ecocide Fiend, and I will catch you in the next one. Too sweet. Too sweet.